Hey everyone, welcome back to Sensor Secrets. I plan on being here every Tuesday, sharing some real world tips from my over 20 years in the sensor and automation industry to help you make better decisions and avoid headaches in your automation projects. But please do me a favor, don't forget, jump into the chat, ask your questions, share your stories, and help each other out. Your questions might help someone else, and maybe you can help someone else. Today's sensor secret topic, characteristic curves for photoelectric sensors. So let's talk about these things. They're curves that help give you a shortcut to picking the right sensor the first time, reducing trial and error and also keeping you from buying more advanced sensors than you need. So here's what you need to know. Let's take a look at what we're talking about with these characteristic curves. There's a video you could take a look at to help you get to a right sensor to even start with, to even check on these curves and the distances. And that is a essential guide to sensor selection. You can skip through and zip through, but really tries to help drive through your selection criteria for your application. One of the sensors and the sensor families in there is an H18. The technical details give us lots of information we need about the range, the size, everything else, but I want to look at the technical drawings. These characteristic curves are curves. So I'm going to go scroll down, and here's one. I'm going to click on it. All right, what is all this and how do we read it and how does this help you? So my sensing distance, how far am I away? Let's say I'm over a white conveyor looking for this black target. How far up in the air is the sensor? And then I'm going to look at a 6%, 90%. What is all that? 6% is black, 90% is white, 18% is gray. So back when physicists were doing studies on light and things like that, they needed a way to define how much light is light. And then Kodak and other photographers kind of took that. That's where white balance comes from. In the olden days, you'd have your assistant hold the white Kodak white card out and you would do your white balance on your camera. All right. So just think of 90 is white, 6 is black, 18 is gray. We want to look at extremes. We don't really know. You're not probably sure what reflectivity the target is that you're looking for, unless you're looking for Kodak cards. So black is one of the worst case situations. We don't get a lot of signal, and it's about getting signal out of the noise. The signal is how much light's coming back from your target. The noise is the stuff that's around, the ambient, the white conveyor, or it could be strobe lights. It could be reflective vests from people walking past it. So that's what we're looking for. And how good is that sensor at pulling that signal out of the noise? So if we look here, let's take, I'll give you a couple different examples. This one here, we'll do the math real nice. We'll go 100 millimeters away. We'll use millimeters, just things divide out nice. So you've got your sensor, you're 100 millimeters away from a white conveyor, and you're looking for this thin black envelope or something coming by. What that says is at 100 millimeters away, a black target on a white background needs to be 10% of that range, which is 10 millimeters. So if this guy, my target, is thinner than 10 millimeters, I don't think this sensor is going to work. Could still test it, but this tells me, I got to have it further away, or this could be thicker, bigger, but it needs to be further away from this background in order for it to accurately and precisely pick it up. That's a very challenging application. 80% of applications going to get solved by this sensor. But if that doesn't look like it's going to match your application, what do we do? So let's take a look at another sensor. So another sensor that we talk about also in the essential guide for sensor selection, that's our short range problem solver for more challenging applications, is the 4 family, WTB4. So let's take a look at these numbers. And I really like the description on the 4 in the data sheets in those curves, because it actually gives an example to help you run the numbers, which is nice. So here's a white background, just like what we have. Here's a black target. Okay, it's a cube. In this case, it's a small card. So we have a black object with the sensing range at 150 millimeters. So we need a background, a distance of this black target to this white background of only 5.5 millimeters. So if this is 5.5 millimeters or thicker sitting on here, it'll work. Or 5.5 millimeters away from a background. This sensor now will work. It would be worth it to test it in the application if that's your challenging application. So how does this compare to the HTB18 we were just looking at? Well, If we look at 150 millimeters away, we need to be 18% away. The background needs to be 18% away. 18% of 150 millimeters is 27 millimeters. So instead of 5.5 millimeters, it's 27. And if I look inversely and say, hey, what percentage of the sensing range would the W4 be? That's 3.7. So you can see the flatter this line is as it goes out, the better the sensor. So why don't we just always use the 4? And that's the key takeaway here. Don't overpay for a high performance sensor if you don't need it. But also don't waste your time trying to make a lower spec sensor work in a tough application. Use these characteristic curves to match the sensor to your needs to get it right the first time. So for more details on these types of sensors, check out my other videos, especially the sensor selection one. It's pretty long, but you can skip through to the different chapters to find the part that's interesting to you and help you get to the right family and the right sensor to test out. So I hope this helps you choose the right sensor for your application. Please hit the subscribe button and come back next Tuesday for more sensor secrets. And please keep those questions coming in the chat. See you next time.